Have you ever pondered what made Malcolm X such a significant figure in American history? Born in the heartland of Omaha, Nebraska in the year 1925, Malcolm X was no stranger to adversity. His childhood was marred by racial violence, a grim reality that took his father's life and tore his family apart at the hands of welfare agencies. Amidst this turmoil, a young Malcolm found himself slipping into the clutches of crime. In the midst of chaos, a young Malcolm found himself drawn towards a life of crime. What can lead a man from crime to enlightenment? For Malcolm, it was a prison sentence. In the hustle and bustle of the Harlem streets, Malcolm got swept away in a life of petty crimes. From burglary to gambling, he was no stranger to the harsh realities of the underworld. But as quickly as his criminal life began, it came to a screeching halt. A series of ill-fated decisions led to his arrest, and Malcolm found himself in the cold, confining walls of a prison cell. This 6-year sentence, however, was not the end for Malcolm. Rather, it marked the beginning of an extraordinary transformation. Within those prison walls, Malcolm found solitaire, not solitude. He found an opportunity to educate himself, diving headfirst into literature, philosophy, and history. He devoured books, feeding his mind, and igniting a flame of curiosity and understanding that had long been dormant. But the most significant shift came when he was introduced to the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, the leader of the Nation of Islam. These teachings, which emphasized Black empowerment and self-respect, resonated with Malcolm. They sparked a fire in him, a desire to fight for the rights and dignity of his people. From that point forward, Malcolm was a changed man. In the most unlikely of places, he found enlightenment. A jail cell, with its iron bars and cold, hard floors, had become the crucible that molded Malcolm X, the fiery and uncompromising defender of African American rights. How does one become a voice for the voiceless? For Malcolm X, it was through the Nation of Islam. Delving into this pivotal period, we find Malcolm fully immersed in the teachings of the Nation of Islam. He rose swiftly through the ranks, his charisma and articulate speeches captivating audiences. He advocated for Black empowerment, urging African Americans to reclaim their identity, their dignity, and their rights in a society that had long denied them these basic human entitlements. His speeches, however, were not without controversy. They were fiery, uncompromising, and often drew criticism from those who feared change and from those who misunderstood his message. But they also drew admiration, especially from those who had been marginalized and silenced. He gave them a voice. He gave them hope. But as Malcolm's star rose, so too did tensions within the Nation of Islam. Disagreements led to a break, a turning point that would see Malcolm embark on a pilgrimage to Mecca. This journey was transformative. It opened his eyes to the universal brotherhood of man, irrespective of color, leading to a significant shift in his views on race. Malcolm's pilgrimage brought a new perspective, but it also marked the beginning of the end. His journey, both literal and metaphorical, was far from over. In fact, it was just beginning. What legacy does a firebrand like Malcolm X leave behind? This is a question that has been contemplated by many, and the answer is as multifaceted as the man himself. In 1965, the world was shaken by the assassination of Malcolm X, a man who had transformed from a petty criminal to a vocal advocate for racial equality and justice. His death marked the end of an era, but it was far from being the end of his influence. In fact, it was just the beginning. Despite his life being cut short, Malcolm X left an indelible mark on the world. His speeches, rife with passion and unwavering conviction, continue to reverberate through the halls of history, inspiring new generations to stand up against injustice. His activism was not without controversy, but it was his boldness, his refusal to back down, that has made his legacy enduring. He challenged the status quo, he questioned authority, he demanded justice and equality for his people. And this firebrand spirit, this unquenchable thirst for change, is what keeps his memory alive. Malcolm X's legacy is not just in his words, but in the actions of those he inspired. It's seen in every protest, every call for justice, every stand against racism. His life, his fight, his legacy is a testament to the power of conviction and the indomitable spirit of humanity. Malcolm X, a man of controversy, a man of conviction, and a man whose legacy still resonates in the quest for equality and justice.